Hey guys, welcome back to Flat Creek Outdoors. I'm Phil, and I'm going to give you an update on this excavation project we've been working on. Actually, we haven't. We had a contractor in here doing a little bit of work, and it's going to greatly improve the access to a couple different parts of our property. The kids are over here in the creek now trying to clear out some of the areas that are blocked with leaves and sticks and other debris. And that's going to get the water flowing in here much better. And the reason we want to get the water flowing in here much better is because we have a new road right here. And there was a culvert installed right there. So this here is just to give you a little layout. Our camper's over there, our shed's over there. The main entrance to our property is just uphill over there. And on this side of this culvert, on the far side of that culvert, is going to be our flower patch for next year and for 2022. And then just over here on the other side is where we have always done games and activities and stuff for kids when we're open to the public. So having this as a back and forth spot for vehicles and for equipment is going to be a big help, because what we were doing before went around this creek up to the corner of our property off in that direction, and oftentimes it's really wet over there. Sometimes it's too wet to get equipment through. So that's why we wanted to build this down here, so that no matter what the weather, we'll have access to these two fields. There's another culvert and another road that's even bigger. I'll show you that in a minute. But first, let me give you just a quick preview of what this project entailed. I was here for the first day that the contractor was working, and what they had to do was actually move a bunch of soil. There was like a knoll up there, and they kind of cut off the top of that knoll and used that as fill dirt to bring down here. So this was pretty steep going down to this little creek and coming back up, and they managed to fill in quite a bit of dirt right here and, put in that culvert and fill over the culvert and raise this up quite a bit. So this should always be dry, no problem. Now, this was my first experience watching someone move a bunch of dirt with a bulldozer and using the excavator to backfill it. And that was just a small excavator. That particular contractor actually has a larger one, but he felt like for this job he didn't really need to bring it. And you can just tell how much more efficient those machines are than my little tractor. This would have taken me a weekend to do with my little tractor. And I've done some dirt moving, I've done some road building with that little tractor, but compared to what they were able to do with proper size equipment, it's just night and day. They got in 2.5 to 3 hours what would have taken me an entire day to do. So all I really want to do here today is just drive over this a little bit more, pack it down, break up some of the larger dirt clumps, and fill in some of the ruts, and just try to offer a little bit more of a finished grade on this before any kind of rain sets in. And as soon as temperatures are warm enough this spring, we're going to get some seed down on this, and just to have some soil holding, hopefully through the spring and through the summer. And if seed doesn't really take the way that we want it, we can drop a whole bunch of wood chips on this area too, just to keep the erosion down to a minimum. So let me fire up the tractor here. We'll go ahead and smooth this out, and then I'll show you the other road on the other side of the property. As far as how this is graded now, I think it looks okay. I tried to create, somewhat of a, I don't know, is that an apron? Where it flares out on each side of the driveway. That was, with the initial grade, really rough. There was a lot of big chunks of clay. So driving over that and bringing the box blade over that with some fresh soil helped pack that down, fill it in, and get it all nice and level. What's right on top of the culvert's pretty smooth. The only thing I don't like is on this side, there's like this debris pile here, and there's a lot of like silty sediment stuff that was dug out of the creek bed where the culvert went in, and that stuff's like mush. And I don't really know what to do with that, and since water kind of flows downhill, it sort of flows right towards it. I tried to carve out a little bit of a ditch between the main roadway here and that debris pile, and if we get rain in the next couple days, hopefully it'll just kind of flow down there. We'll have to wait and see what that does, but I'm sure that'll need some corrective action. I think I'll probably try to pick at that a little bit with the grapple and pull some of that woody material out, and then some of the dirt. It's probably good dirt. I'll just try to bring it further uphill where our flower patch would be. So let me take you now over where the other road is. I think it needs a lot more box blade work to get it leveled out. So here we are now on the power line. This is my property line here, and these logs came out of where they put this road in. But we used to have access here right along the property line, but it goes down steep right here, gets muddy down there, and that whole hillside over there, which doesn't get much sun, is always pretty muddy. So rather than trying to improve the road right here, we decided to just move in off the property line just a little bit and put in a much larger culvert down there on the bottom. And he brought a bunch of soil from that hilltop over there and filled all of this in. So kind of the same deal as the other side. It's just a rough grade, and what is kind of outside of the culvert area is still really rough, a lot of big chunks of clay. So on this side and on that side over there, I want to just drive over it. I want to drag the box blade over it and bring some fresh soil in to fill the low spots. And that's pretty much it. And I'm going to take down some more of these trees on some future videos, and then this will get lots of sun, and this should dry really, really hard with all of that kind of native subsoil that, you know, doesn't really have any organic matter in it. Should dry really, really hard. And we'll bring in some wood chips and cover this up. We're not going to gravel this road. This isn't something that we're going to use on the daily, but it is going to give access to that other side. And as long as we can keep water off of here, so for example, water that runs downhill, we're hoping that everything's graded in such a way that it won't run across the roadway. The roadway is built up a bit, so it'll stay over on this side. And as long as this stays dry, this should be passable in any weather. When it's really, really muddy, we might want to consider covering this in wood chips or something, but we'll explore that later. So for today, I'm just going to try to smooth out some of this rough grade, and then we'll see how it develops in the coming weeks. Well, I think there's a couple things that missed the mark here. Up on this hillside that approaches the culvert, I don't think enough topsoil was pushed away, and as a result, there's some spots over here that are really soft, even under my feet. So under the weight of the tractor, it's really sinking down. So we need to bring in a lot more to stabilize this, or we might need to start over and scrape all this back, get the topsoil out of here, and then put good clay soil back on top. Or I don't know, you guys can let me know what you think. We might also just need to bring in some chunky stone, some number 3 stone or something, and just solidify this hillside. Once you get out over here where the culvert is, it's nice and firm. This is packed down completely different, but where we just tried to pack a few inches of clay on top of mushy topsoil, we get a really soft surface over here. And we get kind of the same thing here on the far side. So I've got ruts that I was just continuously making with my tire tracks because this is just too soft. There's only a few inches of clay soil on top of a little bit of topsoil. It looks like maybe some topsoil was tried to get pushed over here, but I don't think it was nearly enough. I think what's underneath this clay is really, really soft, and there's a lot of water there's some standing water right there, and unfortunately that's coming right towards the roadway. That needs to, we need to get maybe the excavator in here and cut back some soil over here to make sure anything that comes down this side doesn't try to come over to the roadway but tries to go that way. That in combination with raising this up a little bit more is, I think, going to get the result that we want. I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. But what's over the culvert is plenty firm. That's what I expected this whole roadway to be. Unfortunately, the approach on this side and that side is not quite there. I don't know. Maybe it'll dry out. Maybe not. You guys can let me know what you think. But I'll reach back out to my excavation contractor too, see what his thoughts are, and you know, we'll go from there. I'll update you guys. So even if this part isn't perfect yet, I'm still really pleased with like just how open this is and how easy that's going to make it getting over to the other side of the property. It used to be we would have to go around the entire pond, drive over the pond dam, then cross our big field in order to get over here. It's kind of a long trek. So this is going to shorten the distance. It's going to give us more options. And then when we're open for business, and I talk more about my business on the other channel on Woods Tree Farm, we'll be able to do like hay rides, and we'll actually be able to put together a loop where we used to only be able to do like an out and back. So this gives us a lot more options, a lot more flexibility, and I am really looking forward to getting this right. A couple tweaks over here, I think we'll be good to go. Now, I know I shared in previous videos I was taking down a bunch of trees for an area that we were going to expand for parking. But the bad news here is I'm out of money. So that project's going to get put on hold. This is the only excavation work we're doing right now. That expanded parking is more of a nice to have item, not a need to have item. And it'll be nice to have come next Christmas. So maybe later in this season or in the fall, I'll be able to explore doing that before the Christmas season when we'll put it to use. But between now and then, we just need to focus on the things that we really need to get done, prioritize the most important things, and focus on making a little bit more money so that we can do more projects like those things. Well, thanks for spending a little bit of time. I appreciate you guys. Leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.